You got John McMullen, Jody McDonald, a.k.a. Mac and Mac on Birds 365. And if it's a Wednesday, it's a Mike Gill day. And if it's a Mike Gill day, it's a T-shirt day. Gill, what are you rocking?
I went with the University of Penn today.
All right, back to the smart kids. Back to the smart guys. Like it.
Yeah, what didn't you have a different Ivy League school on recently? Was it Harvard?
Yeah, Yale on.
I had Yale. I do have a Princeton shirt, but I think it's a little young on me at this stage of my life.
Yeah. You're not fitting into that one anymore, huh?
I was at
Harvard.
Princeton.
Can we do Harvard?
No Harvard. I visited Princeton, Yale, and Penn and Brown. I have those shirts. I have not been to the Harvard campus.
Never been to Brown. What's it like up there in Rhodey? I never saw that.
It's all right. It's not. I went to Yale one weekend and Brown the next day, I wouldn't say it was very comparable. It's nice campus, but it's not like you're walking on Yale. You feel a little different.
Okay, yeah,
but it's nice.
I've been to the Yale campus. It's just tremendous. But I never made it.
You get the pizza.
Pizza when I'm in New Haven, of course. You have to. Yeah. There's no questions asked. Some of the best pizza. Brick oven, which, oh, by the way, we'll talk about getting off on a tangent. Did you hear, and I don't know if it's coming to Philadelphia, in New York, they're making all the pizza places that use brick ovens get rid of them?
Yeah.
That they have to be made up to scale for green purposes. This is where John McMullen wins because he says everything's political.
Yeah.
When we start talking about pizza being made as a political decision, please just go ahead and friggin' shoot me.
Yeah. We've lost the plot as a society. Let's be honest.
Terrible.
We really have.
All right. Mike Gill, are you a gamer?
A video gamer? I retired years ago. I used to, and then the game, for the Madden fans out there, the year that the Madden game made you turn the quarterback's head with the little, I said, all right, this is too much for me. I'm out.
Yeah. I was never, when I
played a lot in college, though. Yeah.
And when I was in college, I'd play every once in a while, but I wasn't good at it because I didn't play it. You know, the people that are good at it played it nonstop.
Live it.
And And for me, it was up, down, left, right, ABC. Once it got past that, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have no interest in this.
Here's the reason why I bring it up. And the Madden ratings came out. That's exactly where I was going. You're right, Mike Gill. And everybody gets their quote unquote rating, and you're compared to other players at your position in the league, blah, 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 and everything else. And the entire Eagle team gets a rating. And Lane Johnson got the #1 rating, top rating, good for him. John McMullen's #1 player on the Philadelphia Eagles because he's a better right tackle than anybody else. Not most important, best player at the position. Lane Johnson, #1 for the Eagles. If you just humor me for a second, I have a point to make. I'm going to go through this real quickly, okay? But pay attention to the rating, the ranking within the Philadelphia Eagles. Lane Johnson 1, Jason Kelsey 2, Darius Slay 3, A.J. Brown 4, Hassan Reddick 5, Dallas Goedert 6, Devontae Smith 7, Jalen Hurts 8, Jordan Mailata 9, Josh Sweat 10, James Bradbury 11, Landon Dickerson 12. That's a little low for Landon. Fletcher Cox 13, Jake Elliott 14, Brandon Graham 15, DeAndre Swift 16, Jalen Carter 17, Jordan Davis. So guys, one guy played, one guy hasn't played. 17, 18, Avonte Maddox 19, Rashad Penny 20, Terrell Edmonds 21, Kenny Gainwell 22, Milton Williams 23, Quez Watkins 24, Brett Kern,
baby.
Brett Kern at number 25. Oh, it gets worse. Boston Scott 26, Greedy Williams 27, Nolan Smith 28, Reed Blankenship 29, Justin Evans 21, Kayvon Wallace 31, Sidney Brown 32, Derek Barnett 33, Alameda Zacchaeus 34, Aaron Sipas. They got both friggin' punters on the list. Kurt isn't even here anymore. What the F?
And I haven't heard a linebacker's name yet.
Number 36, Nicholas Morrow. Number 37, Nakobe Dean. You want to talk about being disrespected? John and I beat this to a drum.
By the way, Jalen,
disrespected. Nakobe Dean is behind 2 punters, one of which isn't an Eagle anymore, one of which they're dying to cut, try and come up with a way to cut his ass, Aaron Sipas, and he's behind Nicholas Morrow. Holy smoke. This Nakobe Dean, is he going to get cut? As per Madden, he's not going to make the team. He's the 37th best player on
you better hope Madden is wrong.
Yeah, that one. You were going through with it. As you're going through that list, I'm thinking I haven't heard a linebacker's name, Dean, at all. Like, don't you have any anticipation that he might be just interesting as opposed to, like, you're ranked 37 out of a 53-man roster. You're essentially uninteresting and no anticipation for anything. I thought you were going to ask me who sounds high. I was going to say, well, I think Slay is maybe a little. What was he, like, the third?
I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That. By the way, I got crapped on for putting Jalen at number 5. Hey, you can turn. I don't know the list because I don't. I'll give credit to OJ Spivey, who works for the Philadelphia Tribune. He put up something on social media yesterday. He said, "You've been kidnapped. Your kidnappers allow you to keep posting on social media to pretend everything is all right. What would you post that would alarm your followers and let them know something is wrong?" My answer was Madden ratings are extremely important and meaningful. And anybody who knows me would know there'd be something wrong in that type of instance. These things are ridiculous and goopy, and I'm not even talking about the fan part of it. The players care about this one.
Yeah, they do.
It's bizarre to me, Mike.
Well, yesterday,
bizarre.
This is how, like, these are akin to where, on the television screen that the Eagles have a 59% chance of winning the NFC East. It's August. It's not even August yet. How do you even have a percentage? How do you come up with this percentage? These are just randomized numbers. Yesterday, during the Sports Center update, Christine Lisi gave me Aaron Donald's Madden number.
Oh, yeah. And oh, by the way, and you can't get upset about it because John McMullen and Ed Kratz came out with a top 25 list. Jody McDonald came out with a top 25 list. What makes us any more legitimate to come up with an opinion on where players rank than the Madden game, which, by the way, generates a hell of a lot more money than McDonald and McMullen put together.
Yeah, but I'm not going down that route. I'll say this, Jody. You're right. They make a lot more money. I know a lot more about the Philadelphia Eagles than these freaking Madden ratings. So if you want to, you don't have to pay attention to my list. There's 9 million other lists. But if you're putting anything on this stupid list, that's on you. I mean, you got. It's like when I talk about film people. Everybody's got access to the film. If you got $99, you can buy Game Pass, you can get the coaches tape, and you got all these people who think they're scouts treaking down film and all that stuff. I said, hey, if you trust somebody and they earn your trust, okay. Baldy would be a good example for me. He's tremendous at it. Otherwise, who cares what Joe from the Northeast says about the film? Who cares what Madden says? I mean, these people, at least we're at practice every day. At least we're boots on the ground. We see what's going on. We talk to the coaches. We talk to the scouts. We talk to the players. Yeah, I'm going to say I have a little more credibility than the Madden rate. I'm not going there, Jody. But I'll also say, if you don't like it, don't pay attention to my list either. Who cares?
Right. But as you noted and we've noted, the players themselves are. I'll go way out on a limb and say, John, none of the players come up to you this list this summer and go, McMullen, I can't believe you and Kratz had me at number 12 on the list.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they may comment on where they are on the Madden rating,
Yeah,
but they're not going to sweat the McMullen Kratz McDonald rating at all.
The one that's a societal thing. But yeah, the players that know me will make fun. You know, they'll give me a shot here and there. But yeah, that's a societal thing. The players caring about this list. You know, if they want to care about something, and some do and some don't, would be the PFF ratings because they're relevant at least. And some do. Some get upset by that. Yeah, the fact that players, I mean, that's because they like video games. That's it. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, nobody wants to use themselves. What number is Nico? What's his overall ranking? That number 37. What was he? Like a 78?
Not even close.
74?
71.
71. See, like now the
Ian Nicholas Morrow dueling 71s with Josiah Scott and Dan Arnold, two guys who may not make the team.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so like if you're Josiah Scott, I can understand because, or not Josiah, Nakobe Dean, you want to have fun playing with yourself. You know what I mean? Like he wants to be able to go out there and enjoy the fact that he's in the game. You can't enjoy the fact that you're in the game if you're a 71. He's no good.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah. Then I would say, hey, stop playing the game.
Mike Gill, just be happy that this isn't radio, because if it was radio, someone would have clipped the he wants to have fun playing with himself.
Yeah, I got you. I caught it as I said it. I said I got to change my the end part. I can't use that one again.
It would be
replay that
over and over and over and over
from the record.
That'd be a good drop. Yeah,
that's what I'm referring to. Yeah. I know you're down the shore guy, so you get a nice mixture of Eagle fans and Giant fans. Listen to your show, call your show, and the like. The Saquon Barkley thing came down the other day. Couldn't get a contract done. The Post was reporting that they were actually pretty darn close, but couldn't get it over the goal line and get a deal done. So he's got to play on the franchise tag or not at all. Will he or won't he show up for preseason and the like? How big a minus for the Giants and a plus for everyone who's got to compete with them in the NFC East is it that the Giants and Barkley didn't get a deal done?
I mean, you can make a strong argument that they were a playoff team based on the fact that Barkley was such a big part of their offense. Their quarterback, who got paid the big money, threw 15 touchdowns last year. Where are they making up the production? Now, we had a big conversation about this yesterday is, you know, these guys, they don't get paid. How important are they? Well, most of the reasoning is, well, you can just put another guy in there and the drop-off won't be all that big. What's the drop-off for the Giants? I think that's the big question for them. In their mind, do they feel that they can just plug the next guy in there and get 1,200 yards of, you're not going to get the same production. And are you going to get the same type of thing? I think if you take Barkley out of that offense, in the regular season, he was obviously huge. He had a big game against the Vikings, I think, in the playoffs. He didn't do anything against the Eagles. So I think we're about to see this really because now these running backs are coming together. I think the biggest problem with this is at wide receiver, you have a number 1A guy, and there's only so many of them. Not everybody has that stud number 1 wide receiver, so they get paid because there's not a lot of them. The running back position, there are certain guys who are more talented, but what does that mean for the production? You know, if the second guy got the same production, is it such a drop-off that your team goes left to right? I think the Giants are about to find out if that happens, if he ends up not playing. And who is Saquon Barkley? I don't know what kind of guy he is. Is he the guy that wants to make an example of the league and say, hey, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to play under this. And I want to be the guy that changes the system. There's no indication of that. He said it is what it is. So I would imagine he's out there playing under whatever deal he is.
Yeah, he's going to play. I mean, and everybody points to Le'Veon Bell. If anything, Le'Veon Bell showed the other guys, you better play.
Right.
And he admits now he made a big mistake.
Yeah. Well, Bell tried to get paid as a wide receiver, as I remember. He wanted to say he should get paid like a wide receiver.
He was saying he was more than a running back, and he was a tremendous receiver and all that kind of stuff. Nobody was biting, obviously. And in the case of Saquon, I think it's pretty simple. He's going to take the summer off. He's going to come in before week 1. He's going to play. So, I mean, it's not going to affect the Giants other than, the lame duck nature of it. But that's not as important. I always talk about lame ducks. If you have a lame duck coach or quarterback, you're in trouble because people know what that signals. Other positions, it happens all the time. It's not that big of a deal. And he's a good running back, and he's the best player on their offense by, I would say, a significant margin. So it'll be the same. He just gets a couple more weeks off, and the Giants got to pay him whatever it is, 10 and a half million, whatever it is. Anybody think he's really going to hold out in the season? You guys?
No, but I think, Jody, your question about, if he doesn't come into training camp and all that stuff, what does that mean? We always think about that. These guys, do you need the preseason games? Do you need to even be at training camp? Is training camp too long? Can these guys just waltz in now and play with 1 week of practice and get ready for the first game? Years ago, you would never even think of something like that. Now, probably the guy walks right in and gets 15 carries his first game, and he's off and running. So, I think this is really kind of going to be the start of what happens next. Starts with this group here because you got 3 guys, Pollard, Jacobs, and Barkley, and Jacobs and the top 3 rushers in the league last year. Henry number 2, and I think Barkley number 3. He might have been number 4. None of them Barkley made the top 3 running backs in the league didn't make the playoffs last year. So I guess the teams are saying these guys are running for 1,500 yards, not helping us make the playoffs. So this is going to be an interesting stare down with what happens next. You got people, saying that they got to do something for the running backs. This isn't fair. We talked about yesterday.
What does that mean, by the way, Mike? What is that? What do people mean when they say, "Oh, you got to"? And the hypocrisy of certain, and I'm not going to name names, but people in the media. I mean, why do people think running backs don't get paid?
Because they don't. But there's nothing you can do. I think to answer your question, John, I think what are you going to do? It's nice to point out that it looks like these guys are getting squeezed. The solution is what?
Yeah, exactly.
And some of the solutions I've heard suggested have no chance whatsoever of happening. We can acknowledge that, unfortunately, the mindset of all 32 teams, not a handful of teams, not one team, all 32 teams is, in a capped world, running backs just aren't going to get paid.
Here's where, and I'll throw this out to both of you guys. Here's where I think people get lost in the sauce, so to speak. They're not going back far enough to the root of the problem. The root of the problem is running backs aren't as important as they once were. When we were talking about Emmitt Smith earlier, they were really stinking important in the Emmitt Smith era. Why are they not important now? Because the game has changed. Why is the game changed? Because they changed the rules. Why have they changed the rules? The safety dogma. It all comes down to that. Unless they're willing to stipulate that this is a violent game, and if you want to play it, it's a violent game, and there could be some repercussions down the road, but they've gone this middle ground. No, we can make the game safer. If you make the game safer, and they have to a certain degree, although you can't remove all the violence, you have what you have. You have the watered down product, the less physicality. And if you're doing that, it's easier to throw the football. It becomes easier. They don't go back to the root of the problem. The root of the problem, if you want running backs to get paid again, you got to play old school football. And the only way you can play old school football is if you change the rules and you turn back the clock. And that ain't happening. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
There are teams, though, like Tennessee. I mean, Derrick Henry, they hand him the ball like it's 1995. Josh Jacobs runs the ball. Like, even Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders fifth in the league in rushing. Can you imagine a time growing up where the 5th leading rusher in the league didn't even get a sniff from his own team? And they just said, see you later. I mean, it is
the most money on the open market Miles, and that's
Yes.
nothing.
Now,
was a
but
pittance.
the trade-off was the Eagles said we had the 5th leading rusher in the league, but I just saw a tweet today. They're paying their running backs $6 million.
Yeah.
The whole room is making $6 million. You had the 5th best guy in the league, and you showed no value to him being the 5th best guy because in your mind, I could bring in 3 guys and they could do the same work for way less money. And I think, because Jody, you're mentioning, all 32 teams. Well, the problem was 2 teams that have come to my mind, Tennessee and Dallas, both paid their running backs and then got destroyed for it. Dallas gave Zeke Elliott that contract, and then it blew up in their face because they couldn't do anything else. They were tied to him. And Derrick Henry, to some extent, has made a lot of money, and they've had to let a lot of other guys go because they paid him so much money. So I think that's where teams say, even if I let Derrick Henry go, can I find another guy? And I was looking through their running games yesterday. Henry got hurt in 2021, and Donta Foreman went in and ran for 131 yards in one game in replacing him. So some of these guys, you just plug. Look at Dalvin Cook. Is he a better player than Alexander Madison? Absolutely. But the Vikings figure we could still get production from Madison. We don't have to pay him nearly as much.
Right. But John told me in the first segment of the show today, the Vikings aren't very good. Part of that is because they're going to run Madison rather than Dalvin Cook. So it all comes down to your opinion on how you construct your team and how important running is. And I'm with you in that I really don't think it's that big a deal for the Giants because I think Saquon's going to play. He's going to show up, like John said, the week before the season starts. He's a veteran. They're not making changes in New York. Same coaching staff, the same quarterback. It's going to be relatively the same offense with a tweak here and there. He'll get up to speed. He'll be ready to go week 1. If you're an Eagle fan who thinks that, by the way, the Eagles and the Giants don't play till the last 3 weeks of the season, so it doesn't much matter. The Giants are going to be what they're going to be. I think that the holdout or however this is going to shake out is going to have next to no effect on the Giants whatsoever.
Yeah. I would say the Eagles play the Giants the last week of the year and then the third to last week of the year. So whatever effect it has, it won't affect their 2 matchups at all, you would think.
No. If he's healthy, he'll be playing by that point of the season, obviously. But, the Eagles have dominated the Giants with Saquon Barkley. So I wouldn't be too concerned from their perspective. At Mike Gill Show, make sure you follow Mike on Twitter. Are you on Threads yet? I haven't asked people that. Threads, the new social media sensation. We'll see if that takes off. Probably not.
No Threads.
At Mike Gill Show. Sports.
I'm actually off today. I'm actually off the rest of the week. So
all right,
nice.
And he's still doing it for us, so we appreciate it, Mike, and your fans because you become very popular on this show, and everybody's got to see the T-shirt. Show it one more time. We got some Penn love.
Go to a little local flavor. University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Do you ever say you were a graduate of the Wharton School of Business?
I didn't. I have not. But I have a variety of T-shirts, so I get asked a bunch about the shirts. So, any campus. I just went to Knoxville, to the University of Tennessee. Well, everything down there is like bright creamsicle orange.
Yeah.
So I have this bright ass orange Tennessee polo, and I'm having a tough time, mentally rocking that thing all around town. But I tried.
Did you have to give up any wins because you were rocking that Tennessee? You're number 1 in drive time in South Jersey. Did you have to give that up because you were wearing the Tennessee? They had to give up. How many wins did they have to give up, Jody?
Like 2 years worth.
2 years worth of win. Is there anything dumber in sports? This is a tangent, but I got to get both your thoughts. We already saw the games.
Yes.
When college, they take away wins afterward.
Yeah, and where do they officially take them away?
Yeah,
I got it right. If you could see, if I could swing my camera, I could show you. I got the baseball encyclopedia
the closet
on my
over
bookshelf here. So something tangible you could look up in. If they could take it out, where do you lose the win? Where do they go? Jody, you acknowledge the fact that you didn't win those freaking games. It's not even written down anywhere.
Jody, they do take in the media guides, like in the Tennessee media guide, they will take them away. And it's just it bothers me to no end. And then it screws up with records and all that kind of stuff. Like Joe Pa, his wins, they took away win. We already saw they took away Reggie Bush's Heisman. I saw him win the Heisman. You can't take it away.
There's video evidence. There's video evidence of him winning that Heisman and all of those games. No, I did not lose any wins in my time in Tennessee. There would have to be a capable challenger, which hasn't happened. So that's why we're number one. We have
right. They're a little braggadocious. I like that.
Well, we don't have any challenge. There's no competition. There's no competition. We don't have like that.
There's other formats that are competition.
True.
So
yes.
You can look at it that way.
The music stations, they're playing the same song over and over again. So at least I'm saying something a little different.
All right. You got to end it on the Eagles. I can't. I went off on a tangent. So I'll say this. The coaching staff, Elliot Shore Parks, taking the heat. Thank him. I'll thank him publicly. He's taking the heat off me. Said the Eagles lost 2 elite coordinators. He's getting killed for obvious reasons. Jeez. I think they lost 2 very good coordinators, and I think people are overlooking it. And obviously, I'm going to get shat upon too for that. But your thoughts on the coordinators? Everybody just assuming. The ironic part to me is, Mike, they've been through it. Andy, Doug Peterson. It affects teams when you lose good coaches.
Yeah, Andy got hit big time. The Eagles had that run, and then everybody started to, slowly take one here, one there, one there, one there, to where the team was almost unrecognizable on the sideline. Now look at all the guys. Some of them are still coaching. Harbaugh, McDermott. You had Ron
Rivera was on that staff.
Yes. So you had a bunch of guys. Brad Childress.
Leslie Frazier was on that staff.
Yeah. So you had a bunch of guys that were head coaching material that ended up leaving. I'm not a John Gannon hater by any stretch of the imagination. I can see, listen, you might not have liked certain things. There's going to be things about the next guy you don't like. Look at, you can go to the basketball team. You hated Brett Brown. They brought in a guy who won a championship. You hated that guy too. There's always going to be something that you don't like about the guy who's coaching. What you did like about John Gannon was they led the league in sacks by a large margin. And I've said it on this show many times. Every single player on that roster last year had their best NFL season they ever had playing in that defense. Are they going to have the best season they ever had playing in this defense? And if they do, then this defense should be pretty darn good. If they don't, you might be saying, man, this Desai guy stinks too. And we will never appreciate anybody unless they're perfect. Fans, I don't mind John Gannon. Why? Because I saw plenty of production from the players. Did they have moments where they didn't make adjustments or they got beat? Yes. You know what? It happens to every team in the league, including the team that won the Super Bowl, who gave up a 35-burger in the Super Bowl. Their defense wasn't great either, but you don't care because they ended up with the win.
Yeah. The one thing I'll give Sirianni credit for, and compared to the team that won that last game of the season and the guy they're coached by, he didn't take his best positional coach, offensive line, and try and make him the defensive coordinator. Andy Reid did go down that road.
Ron was on that staff. By the way, names we missed: David Culley became a head coach. Pat Shurmur became a head coach. We missed Steve Spagnuolo.
Right.
You said Childress. Unbelievable. And then that doesn't even bring up Jim Johnson, who didn't want to be a head coach, and Rod Dowhauer, who was a head coach previously. He was the offensive.
I started with Shurmur, but then I thought I forgot he was with both Andy and Chip.
Yeah. He was on that 99 staff. Yeah, Pat Shurmur.
Never forget, Pat Shurmur, undefeated Philadelphia Eagle head coach.
Yes.
You know what, too? I actually was advocating that year to just hire Shurmur because he had a relationship with the quarterback, because I didn't like any of the candidates out there. I wasn't enthralled with some of the guys they were interviewing at the time, and just said, he won the 2 games. Who was the quarterback at the time?
For Shurmur was
it Vic?
What year are we talking about? I was looking up something.
When Shermer, oh no, he took over for Chip.
Yeah,
Right.
So they hired Doug Peterson
before Doug got the gig.
Yeah. So who was the quarterback?
Sam Bradford?
Maybe. No, I think Bradford had been because it might have been because they traded Bradford before that season. Actually,
Right.
No, they traded Bradford before the next season, and they drafted Wentz.
Yeah.
Bradford was the QB.
Sam wasn't happy.
And I think whoever was the quarterback the last 2 weeks of the season, they looked like, hey, the offense was somewhat. And I said, you know what? You have some continuity here. Maybe just kind of roll forward. That only because, as John
might have been Nick. That was the year before I got to the. It might have been Nick. Was it Nick? I don't know.
Luckily, the Eagles didn't listen to Mike Gill because we saw Pat Shermer as a head coach.
He would have been no worse than some of the guys they actually wanted, which was the guy from the Giants.
No, he's another guy he's a really good coordinator. He was a really good offensive coordinator, but not a very good
head coach. There's a lot of those. All right, Mr. Gill, just a reminder: if you're wearing orange, hold off till Halloween. If you got this burnt orange, you're dying to get out there, and you just don't know when you want to put it out. Halloween is a great time. Save it till the end of October.
Yes.
You will grab everybody.
And then stand strong. Don't give up your wins, Mike, no matter what. If they try to take them away, don't give them up.
MG, thanks, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike Gill here with us on Birds 365. All right, we'll come back. We got a good guest for hour number 2 as well. Kind of following up what we talked about with Gill, but a little bit more league-wide spread. Our pal Brad Spielberger from Pro Football Focus and contributing for Over the Cap for Pro Football Focus. He is their cap guru. How do John and I both kind of questioned it when we had Mike on? How do you fix it? If you believe that running backs are somehow being unfairly treated in the National Football League, and there's 3 players that didn't get their contract done and have to plan a tag, and they're all at the same position, and they're some of the best in the National Football League, how do you fix it? Or should you even bother fixing it? That's something we're talking about Brad Spielberg about. We will get into that. Brad's going to join us coming up in about 20 minutes here on Birds 365.